tells me that goose-stepping morons like yourself should try reading books instead of burning them.
This is sick, depraved, and absolutely disgusting. Now, guys, before we make this video, I'm going to kind of reference a previous video that I did on the whole Parental Rights Act bill and why I felt that Ron DeSantis should have gone a little bit further. But now I know that what he was really doing was he was trying to trigger the left so that way he would get an actual response out of these loans. And parents would see this. And I think parents are starting to wake up. However, I got to make this point right here. Kids are kids. Okay, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. They have a certain innocence about them. And it should not be corrupted in any way, shape, or form. Now, obviously, somebody's going to say, before I mention this, you're okay with one side doing this but not the other. No, I actually don't think that even if you are a straight couple, I don't think you should be discussing the sexcapades with your significant other with 4 and 5-year-olds, especially. I don't think you should be doing that. But if you're definitely, but if you're of the LGBTQAIG community, you definitely should not be discussing this crap with small kids.
Build relationships with our kids. And in order to build relationships, you talk about your home life. You talk about what you do on the weekends. That's building community. It scares me to death that I am not going to be able to have these conversations with my children because they're going to ask me what I did on the weekend. I don't want to have to hide that my partner and I went paddleboarding.
What is up, guys? John Claymore here. Now, really quick, before we respond to all this right here, it looks like I'm going to have to make this right here 2 videos because of Disney's 50% of content becoming woke stuff. Don't worry, that video will be out tomorrow. I'm going to take some time to work on that one tonight. But you've got a teacher down in Florida who's a little bit upset about the parental rights legislation that Ron DeSantis signed. And by the way, I was critical because I didn't think Ron DeSantis went far enough, but now I know the real reason why he only went to 3rd grade. You see, Ron DeSantis knows that the left gets triggered over anything and everything. We see it with the whole don't say gay crap when the actual law itself does not say that you cannot say that. It's a bill that's designed for parents to be able to come in here and actually protest this stuff and actually say, no, you cannot be teaching us, you not be teaching our kids this woke crap, this woke indoctrination BS, because they are in fact children. They should not be exposed to this stuff right here, and teachers should not be telling their students, or they should not be forming a relationship with their students where they have a discussion when they are freaking 5 years old. Do you honestly think that a 5-year-old has the capacity to process everything that you nuts talk about? By the way, I'm not talking about the entire LGBTQ community. I mean, hell, 45% of them voted for Donald Trump last election, which means that they actually agree with some people like myself. That means that they do not agree with indoctrinating kids. They think that the lifestyle should be shared amongst adults and not with kids. I don't entirely agree with that, but I can work with you on that right there. You see, my problem is with the act itself, not the person. But the fact that you're coming after our kids just tells us that you're sick, depraved, and you need to absolutely stop, and it needs to be stopped. And I don't think anybody's going to actually do this. And Ron DeSantis has found a way to actually at least get the fight started, which I got to commend him on, even though I did before kind of criticize him for not going for it. But now I know why. Because he's telling us exactly how many nuts there are out there in the world. When he did this, he exposed the fact that these people are absolutely nuts and they're absolutely insane, and they do not need to be around our kids. So let's go ahead and watch the full actual context of this clip one more time, so that way you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this.
I am not trusted as a professional. I know my kindergarten standards through and through, and nowhere in our curriculum does it have anything about teaching sexual orientation or sexual identity. So for them to say that's happening, it's kind of crazy. But we should be able to have discussions, and that's what we're encouraged to do in kindergarten. And then personally, because my kids do have questions. They want to know who my partner is in pictures outside of my classroom, and I should be able to speak to that.
So do you worry that you won't even be able to talk about your own personal home life? I mean, I have a child in kindergarten right now. I know exactly that my child has 2 teachers.
Build relationships with our kids. And in order to build relationships, you talk about your home life. You talk about what you do on the weekends. That's building community. It scares me to death that I am not going to be able to have these conversations with my children because they're going to ask me what I did on the weekend. I don't want to have to hide that my partner and I went paddleboarding.
You, sir, and your woke teachers should not be anywhere near our kids. First of all, you teachers are beholden to us, the taxpayers. And by the way, I love teachers. But when you try to indoctrinate our kids, that really is when we need to actually put our foot down and say, look, man, you can't be telling this nonsense to my 5-year-old. You can't be telling this nonsense to my 6-year-old or my 4-year-old, okay? Why can't kids just go to school and learn? I mean, go back to the whole discussion thing, okay? Go back to this. I mean, seriously. I mean, think about this. You want 5- and 6-year-olds to be able to discuss the topics that you discuss with your boyfriend on the weekend. This right here is absolutely disgusting and insane, and it needs to, quite frankly, it needs to stop. I mean, these teachers, in my opinion, do not need to be allowed to keep their jobs. They need to not only not be allowed to keep their jobs, but they need to have their teachers' licenses revoked, if you guys know what I'm saying. They don't need to be anywhere near kids. Now, look, I'm not saying that a gay man or a gay woman can't be near a child. I'm saying that a gay man or a gay woman or somebody of that freaking community, bisexual, pansexual, or whatever 2,000 versions of queer there are out there, should not be allowed to discuss their personal life with our children, especially in a freaking classroom. This is how insane this is. But yeah, it gets worse. It actually gets worse. Not only is it teachers, it's now the books.
D is for coming out. D is for drag. These are children books, guys. These are children books. ML Webb, you're disrespectful, bro. My kids is just trying to learn, okay? They're just trying to learn. Why are you writing books like this? Can't they just be kids and learn their regular ABCs? What is going on?
F is still for family, though.
What is going equality? Like, we got a lot. Gay, like G is for gay. Like, we got a lot going on. Non-binary, what? Listen, this is picture books. This is picture books. My 4-year-old don't know what the non-binary is. They don't know what lesbian is. Why are you writing?
Gaybcs. You see, parents are starting to wake up to this. And yeah, I got to say this right here to the community. You see, like I said before, 45% of these, 45% of the LGBTQ community actually voted Republican last election. That means that 45% of the LGBTQ community is starting to agree with rational people on the right, rational people, period, who are actually turning right. And you see, they're starting to see that their community is also in danger. You see, I have said this before, I can actually work with somebody. I've had to work with people of that community before. I draw a line at when you try to actually indoctrinate our kids. When you try to indoctrinate me. You see, right now, 3% of the country is trying to spread their values all over the world. Not just this country here, but all over the world. And other countries are paying attention to this, and they're seeing our society completely degrade. This is one of the reasons why this is a culture channel, because culture, this is our actual culture. This is the fabric of our nation, and quite frankly, there has to be some type of rationality here where we say, hey, look, man, you can't teach my 3-year-old or my 5-year-old about what you and your boyfriend do on the weekends. I don't care about your parasailing. We all know what the hell you're really and truly doing. And quite frankly, we think it's absolutely disgusting, and our kids should not be exposed to it, should not be learning it. As a matter of fact, our kids should not be reading about it in children's books. That was a picture book collection. This is how far these nuts have gone. Now, really quick, I have talked about Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? I tried to get super religious on this channel and how it was normalized in society, but you know what? We may not even get to that stage because, you see, people are now beginning to actually hate that community. You see, this is something I was trying to get to, I didn't get to before, and that the LGBTQ community is making a lot of enemies that, quite frankly, would actually be on their side on certain issues. You see, when you do crap like this right here, it creates anger, it creates hatred, it creates people who are absolutely pissed off. There's no way in hell 3% is going to be able to completely normalize all their beliefs across all of society without some type of backlash. Right now, the backlash is obviously going to school board meetings. Next thing you know, the backlash is going to be the vote. Then you're going to be out there protesting that you can't work a job because you decide to indoctrinate kids, which, by the way, you should not be allowed to work a job because you try to indoctrinate our children. Next thing you know, that hatred is going to be, get the hell out of my town, get the hell out of my city. You're going to be ostracized more than you already are. And judging by the actual suicide rate of the LGBT community, you guys might want to start curbing your behavior because you're doing this crap to yourselves by attacking us and our kids, by trying to indoctrinate our kids. This right here is what you're doing to society. Now you're starting to see why people are starting to not like you. Now you're starting to see why people are beginning to absolutely hate you. And people are starting to wake up to the fact that you are coming after our kids and they don't like it. Let me end the video on this note right here. As I've said before, it's not just the fact that that community is trying to indoctrinate our kids. They're actually alienating themselves from society. They're making people actually hate them and dislike them even more and more and more because they have gone too far. Like I've always said, the right normally never goes far enough. The left, on the other hand, they normally go way too far, and it normally leads to major backlashes. All you got to do is cite midterm elections 2010, 2014. Of course, it didn't happen 2018, but you're going to see probably another backlash this year. And once again, these people are probably going to come out here and play the victim card. Oh my God, they don't like us. Us gays are under attack. No, motherfucker, you did this shit to your damn self when you tried to indoctrinate our kids, when you tried to corrupt our children, when you tried to go this far to try to screw up their lives and screw up their parents' lives at home. This right here is the reason why people are actually acting the way they are towards you and your movement. This right here is the reason why we are no longer keeping our thoughts to ourselves. We're telling you flat out there are no such thing as 40 or 50 genders. It's just 40 or 50 types of queer, and you people are absolutely freaking insane. And with that being said, guys, John Claymore, if you like this content, hit that like button, subscribe. These are here my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I will leave you with Cassady Campbell.
Illness, and unfortunately there isn't a vaccine for it yet. And I first witnessed transphobia when a kid wearing a racist Make America Great Again hat made fun of me and said that me being myself was a Halloween costume. The MAGA supporter. And even though Donald Trump is not in office, the disease of Trumpism has spread across our stolen land. Every night I cry myself to sleep knowing that I live on stolen Native American land. As a high school teacher, I witnessed transphobia every single day. Racist bigots! We need to teach our students and raise awareness in our schools about this deadly virus. Transphobia is a spectrum, and it can go from transphobia to transphobia with many shades and flavors in between. But what degree of transphobic are you? We have the extreme transphobic, which is Trump supporters, Nazis, KKK, Bible thumpers who believe in a sky daddy, when we clearly know that we humans used to be monkeys and came from the Big Bang Theory, which is proven science. Let's not forget, straight white males, those who say that a man will never be a woman, those who refuse to get vaccinated and obey the science. It's science, people! Obey the science! It's common basic biology! Just get the vaccine! You bigots! No! Is somebody laughing? No, we have those who are right in the middle. Are you that person who says, I have a gay friend or family member? Am I that gay friend? Do you refuse to get gender reassignment, therapy, surgery? The bottom of the spectrum is unconscious transphobia. This is anybody who is not transgender and refuses to be attracted to the same sex. I recently had a coworker who said that he was not transphobic. However, he refused to kiss me because he said he didn't swing that way. So if you didn't see yourself on the spectrum, that is the category.